This is Bob Sansevier here with John Shipley and Pioneer Press Deputy Sports Editor John Plume. Now, Vikings have hired a general manager. Bill Polian out in Indianapolis. Was he on his way here? No.
No, it's Rick Spielman. It's kind of a surprise. There's so many good candidates out there. The one person I really liked was, if the Vikings wanted to hurt another team within the division, it would have been great for them to take a hard look at Reggie Mckenzie from the Packers, because he's been Ted Thompson's right-hand guy. He really knows personnel, the things that they've done in Green Bay over the past 3 or 4 seasons with Ted Thompson, all the rookie free agents who've played, all the guys who came in and helped them win the Super Bowl last year. They seem like they're on their way again this year. All the young wide receivers they've developed, the 2 young tackles they have on offense. I mean, they're really set up, and McKenzie's had a lot to do with that. But Spielman, you just look at his track record, and it makes you cringe what he did in Miami. I think he had 35 draft picks. Only one of them was left in the league five years after his first draft, or 6 years after his first draft. And then what he did with the Bears, he totaled that team as well. And then if you get to the Vikings, there's so many bad second-round draft picks, so many third-round draft picks, and that's kind of what you build the heart and soul of your team around. And other than Toby Gerhardt, it's pretty hard to find a second-round draft pick over the past couple of years who's had a lot of impact on this team.
And John, what's interesting to me about this is the number of teams that had similar records or worse or better, and they blew out coaches and blowing out GMs. But this team they're big on stability, which is kind of intriguing.
It's the other interesting thing is that when was the last time the Vikings had a general manager?
By title?
Yeah.
It might have been Mike Lynn, because I don't think Roger Hedrick took the GM
was
title.
A long time
Yeah, it was.
ago.
Yeah.
They've always been this kind of nebulous, trickle down from and you didn't really know who was in charge. Childress, I guess, was in charge.
Well, Denny Green was in charge certainly when he was here.
From the high
it was clear who was in charge when it was Denny. He made the decisions.
Right. But in theory, this could work well for them. But when you look at who it is, I mean, I don't know Rick that well, but his track record isn't all that good.
What he needs to do, John, is distinguish himself as something beyond a guy who can take. Because the first rounders he took, many of them were guys that they slid and should have been taken already.
Yeah.
How do you make a mistake when you got Adrian Peterson sitting, 7th? And Percy Harvin, where he went. I mean, the guys that he's gotten have been guys
they've fallen into his lap.
Yeah, they're staring right at him. Be interesting to see what he does now when he's got the 3rd pick in the draft. I don't see how you can blow that pick when there's really there's a possibility of 3 choices that you're going to have. And if Matt Kalil is one of them, or the way Justin Blackmon played last night, and then there's the quarterback.
Claiborne.
Morris Claiborne, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at Justin Blackmon last night, the way he played in the Fiesta Bowl. 8 catches, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. That guy is a beast. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. I'm watching him last night, and I'm thinking, this guy's Terrell Owens. Hopefully he doesn't have the attitude like him, but after those first 2 drives, he comes off the sideline, and he's slinging it out of his mouth to his teammates, trying to get him fired up. He's going after the offensive coordinator a little bit, get me the ball, and they did, and they got back into the game. And then you look at Claiborne, who's a 6 foot, 180-pound corner. The guy hits like a Mack truck, can cover down the field. But I think the guy that makes the most sense for them, if you want Ponder to have success and you want Webb to have success, they've got to find a left tackle they can count on for 10 to 12 years. Because if they don't do that, if they come back with the same line they have now, and Christian Ponder's the starting quarterback, he won't make it to the 5th game.
I happen to think that, John, I don't think you or I follow it nearly as closely as the draft Nick here, but I think quarterbacks are going to possibly can go 1-2. Andrew Luck with the 1st pick, and somebody will move into the number 2 pick, St. Louis's, to get Robert Griffin III, and then you could be if you look at all 3, how do you go Kalil, Blackmon, and then Claiborne? How do you line it?
That's how I think it's going to fall. You'll see Luck come off the board first, or you might even see RG3 shoot up, depending on what happens in workouts. That guy is a freak. He's a lot like Cam Newton. Nobody expected Cam Newton to be number 1 right away either after the college football season.
Andrew Luck was not in the draft last year.
You're right, he wasn't, but Luck is a great player. There's no doubt about it. But this Robert Griffin III, this guy is Cam Newton number 2 all over again. If you want a guy who can move around, which Luck can't, make plays all over the field, can run the ball, has a great arm, 50 touchdown passes, that's RG3. The safe pick, the potential Hall of Fame pick, is Andrew Luck.
And the reason, John, I think he's the safe pick is that if there's a thing you have to be concerned about with guys, well, like Newton, big part of Newton's game is the ability to run. All it takes is one leg injury.
Right.
Doesn't have to be a knee, but I mean they get banged up, and then their mobility is compromised, and that's why Luck is the safer pick.
The NFL likes guys who can run, but not whose instinct is to run. They want guys to sit in the pocket and step up. And Webb to me fits that mold. Webb is a guy, he's a big, strong guy who can run and can break a tackle and get out, but it's not his first instinct. His first instinct is to pass the ball and step. I like Webb. I'm surprised why people don't think that he might not.
He's fun to watch especially when he's eluding tacklers like he did the other day.
Here's the thing I don't get about Joe Webb. You've got Leslie Frazier last week saying that they wanted to take a hard look at him after the Redskins game, yet he gets no reps during the week. Why?
Yeah. And I don't think he was going to replace Ponder unless Ponder got hurt.
And Ponder, it's hard to fault him for what happened in the last 4 games. Granted, he regressed a little bit, but let's face it, he got the crap beat out of him. The beating he took in that Washington game was comparable to the beating Archie Manning took in Chicago when he was sacked 11 times. I mean, you can't put franchise players behind an offensive line like they have now, and if they do, they're just asking for trouble.
Well, and that's why if he does have... Okay, let's say Kalil goes second, and he's not there. You take Blackmon, or do you take the cornerback?
I'd take Blackmon.
So would I, because...
No way.
I love... Well, see, here's what I think they're going to do. Free agency, you've got a great free agent crop of cornerbacks coming up. You've got Reggie Wayne, who's going to be coming out as a wide receiver. Granted, he's been in the league 9 or 10 years, but the guy can still get the job done. But there are so many good cornerbacks. Rasheed Mathis, Brent Grimes from the Falcons. I mean, there's another one. I'm thinking of him right now, but he's a really good player. I just expect the Wilfs, and because of Frazier and because of Spielman, they're going to want somebody experienced at that position because they know with a rookie there's going to be growing pains. And can you afford growing pains against the Green Bay Packers, the Bears, and the Lions?
There are no growing pains with Justin Blackmon. It's like bringing in Randy Moss.
Yes.
He could have that kind of an impact
about Michael Williams.
This guy's better than Mike. It's not even close.
Yeah, but that was other people saying it. John and I
Well,
didn't.
that's true. But to me,
This guy is the next Calvin Johnson. This guy is the
the
next Calvin Johnson. He's just a tremendous athlete, great leaper, goes over the middle, doesn't mind contact. The plays he made last night, simple slant pattern, catches the pass. He just threw the guy off of him, and he ran 60 yards for a touchdown. I mean, he's incredible talent. But I can see the Vikings trading out of 3.
That would be a huge mistake.
Moving down to 7, moving down to 8.
You want to know why it's a huge mistake? Because then you're accumulating picks, and they've shown that they can't deal with the later round picks. Take the sure thing with the early pick, and don't try to get compiled picks, because like you mentioned before, historically,
they're not very good at it.
They have not done a great job of taking players later in the draft. Yeah. And but that draft is a few months off, and we'll be talking about it as time moves along.